Hey, welcome to the Sales Performance Insights podcast. I'm your host, Frank Gustafson. This is where leaders, business owners, and ambitious sales reps come to sharpen their skills, challenge old thinking, and learn what really drives sales performance. Get ready for real-world strategies, practical tools, and a fresh perspective to help you win more, lead better, and grow faster. Today, we're diving into one of the most overlooked sales killers of sales performance. It's assumptions. And here's the big idea. Every time we assume we know what's driving the prospect's decision, we put the deal at risk. And the antidote is curiosity. So let's talk about how trading assumptions for curiosity can change the way you sell, the way you lead, and the way you win. Think back to that last deal that you lost, the one that you thought was in the bag. Chances are the problem wasn't price, it wasn't timing, it probably wasn't even competition. It was an assumption. You assume the CFO only cared about cost. You assume the CEO was the only decision maker. You assume that the problem was the same as the last deal that you closed. Here's the danger. Assumptions don't get tested until it's too late. You don't realize that you were wrong until you're staring at that dreaded "we went another direction" email. I've seen it play out time and time and time again. Good reps, solid products, losing out simply because they guessed instead of asked. So why does curiosity win? Well, curiosity is the antidote to that entire situation. When we show up curious, we slow down just enough to uncover the truth. When you slow down, you discover the hidden motivations, the ones that never made it into the RFP. You learn about internal politics or priorities, maybe that you wouldn't see on a spreadsheet. And you build trust because the buyer feels heard instead of pitched. So here's a simple gut check. If you're doing 70% of the talking in your sales call, you're assuming. If your prospect is doing 70% of the talking, you're curious. That one shift alone can transform your pipeline. So how do we put curiosity into action? And this is where I want to get practical. How do you make curiosity a habit? I'm going to give you 3 things to do. Number 1, replace certainty with questions. Look, instead of saying, hey, they need a solution fast, ask, what happens if this problem isn't solved in the next 3 months? Instead of assuming the CEO decides, ask, who else will weigh in before you move forward? The second piece is to get comfortable with silence. Ask a question and then pause. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. You'll be amazed how often people will fill that silence with the truth. The third piece here is use the pain funnel. Don't stop at surface level problems. These are the ones that you hear right off the bat. Dig deeper. Hey, can you tell me more about that? Interesting. Can you unpack that a little bit for me? Wow, how long has that been an issue? Man, round figures. What's that costing you today? Each layer gets you closer to the business impact and the real reason that buyers buy. I coached a sales rep recently who assumed that a manufacturer's issue was slow production times. It turns out the real pain was losing market share to a competitor who was out innovating them. We only uncovered that by staying curious and pushing deeper. That insight reframed the whole conversation and moved the deal to close. A note to leaders here. This is on you. If you're leading a team, listen up. Your people will mirror what you do. If you rush to conclusions in your pipeline reviews, they're going to do the same thing in their sales calls. But if you demonstrate curiosity, asking, listening, challenging assumptions, they will start to model that. When your rep says things like, the prospect seemed interested, or hey, we've got a good chance here, or they said they'd call back next quarter, all of that is assumption language, and your job is to push for clarity. What exactly did they say? How do we know they're serious? What's driving their timeline? This discipline it creates accountability, and accountability creates results. There's a ripple effect to all of this. And here's what happens when curiosity becomes the default on your team. Forecasts are more accurate, deals become more predictable, reps stop chasing maybes and focus on real opportunities, and customers feel understood, not pressured. It's a win for everyone involved. So let's bring this home. Assumptions, they feel safe, but they're expensive. Curiosity sometimes can feel slow, but it's smarter, and it closes more deals. Here's my challenge to you. In your very next sales call, take one assumption that you'd normally make and turn it into a question. See what happens. You might uncover the insight that wins the deal. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Sales Performance Insights podcast today. If this resonated with you, share it with a colleague or someone who could use a reminder to just slow down and get curious. If you want more insights like this, subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious and keep selling smarter. And always remember, no one ever got fired for improving sales performance.